Ladies and gentlemen, Passion of the Christ 2 is going to start filming in 2025. My question is, what y'all finna film? Huh?
Shalom. All praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Ba'asham Yahweh Shai, Ba'asham Racha Kwadash. Double honors to the elders and the apostles of the Great Millstone, and salutations to all you sincere Akian. And this is your brother Abawan, back again with another video. Through the spirit and power of Yahweh, Ba'asham Yahweh Shai, Ba'asham Racha Kwadash. All praises and glory is due. So, yeah. And before I say anything else, let me just say that this video is being done for educational purposes only in accordance to YouTube's fair use policy. And I am not benefiting in any way from this video, no monetization, no super chats or whatever other way, but it's being done for educational and of course scientific purposes. So also, this is not the first time you hear about the Passion of Christ too, because this is something that has been going on for years now. In which what's this guy's name again? Mel Gibson and the actual actor, they've been trying to get a Passion of Christ too, right, funded and filmed, and this is it right here. And you can go into it, all the way since, look at this, 7 years ago, right? Mel Gibson, even the guy that acted as, Sweet JC, right? Christ, Jim Caviezel, Cavier, lots, yeah. And I definitely mispronounced that. But even him has been talking about there being a Passion of Christ part two. So this is something that is definitely has been in the works for a good amount of time, right? And of course, you should already know why this video is being done. Because first of all, it's been a while since I've done a video going into the true appearance or the true, you know, appearance of our Lord Yahweh Shai. And this is something that is actually very important and very relevant when it comes to Bible doctrine. Because look, man, Esau Edom is a demon, okay? I did a video recently. Let me go to that, classic video, man, great video. Well, I did a video recently. The devil is a liar, okay? That's exactly what Esau Edom is. Devil is liar. Anyway, I have to go and change that. It's supposed to be devil is a liar. That's exactly what Esau Edom is. He is a liar. So Esau will tell you that, oh well, what the Lord looks like doesn't matter. It could be black, it could be white, right? It could be green, it could be purple, but what it doesn't look like matters. It is message. It is message that matters. But when you tell them that Elijah Hawashai was a dark skinned man, well, he could be black, right? And they'll be like, no, he wasn't. What looks like doesn't matter, but they still want him to be white. They still want him to be Edomite looking. And the second, you start talking about how, Elijah Hawashai wasn't an Edomite. They will say, oh, Esau has all kinds of cop outs, man. Well, he wasn't white, but he wasn't black either, which is basically just a bailout. In order to, for them to say, he was a, small heart, basically. They still believe that, a Elijah Hawashai was a so-called, or at least he looked so-called white, right? Because that's the mindset that Esau has, and not really just the mindset, but that is the doctrine that they push out into the world. And the reason why is because that is, as it is written in the book of Job 9 verse 24. So yeah, the book of Job 9 verse 24. The earth is given into the hand of the wicked. He covereth the faces of the judges thereof. If not, where and who is he? That's right. They have changed the image of, the Most High, His Son, the angels, the prophets, in order to make it look as them. But the scriptures actually gives you a description of the appearance of the Most High Yahweh and His Son Yahweh Shai. And of course, we'll go into that, but just want to, say a little bit more about this whole Passion of Christ Part 2 situation, right? Because in that first one came out, man, it really solidified JC, okay. Because here in Nigeria, I still remember the time period when it came out, they used to play it in every church, man. Every church when there was ever a film time, Passion of Christ was the best what do I put it now? The go-to film basically. They used to play it all over the churches. And what they did is this is how Esau Edom controls the minds of you people through the media, okay? So don't ever, and I've just been observing that and realizing just how powerful, right, the media is and being able to control, movies, right, images, the news, so on and so forth, because it puts the people, right, it puts the people in the mind state that you want them to be in and allows them to believe a lie. That's exactly what Esau Edom has been doing. So now let's get these precepts because first and foremost, if we are going to make a Passion of Christ too, obviously they're going to cast, that guy Jim. eh, I'm not saying his last name, but they're going to cast him again. And if they don't, they'll cast someone that looks similar to him. So it's going to be a Edomite with long, straight hair and the beard, okay, which of course the scriptures does not describe our Lord Yahushua in that way. So let's read the scriptures to see what if there was a passion of, well, it wouldn't be Christ, it would be Hamashiach because Christ is a Greek word, okay, Christos, which means holy, but the word in the Hebrew is Hamashiach. So if there was actually a passion of, Hamashiach, right, it should be the correct term to use. This is what the actor that is playing that role should look like. So this is the book of Revelation 1. And of course, you have a lot of, let me say this as well, so okay, because there's a lot I want to get out of my chest because we call this whole stupid debate on what our Lord our child looked like, because you have a lot of intellectually dishonest Edomites. And when you bring out the information, there's one excuse after the other, one cop out or bill out after the other, one deceit after the other, right? And I give you an example of one or two at least. Oh, well, what does his skin color matter, right? His message is what is important, but the moment you just go around with a picture of Aloja Washai, yeah, you see the videos and you see the camp videos, you see how offended Esau gets when brothers are walking around with, an image of Aloja Hawashai and how he actually looked like, man. You see how the demons just jump out and start running amok. And that shows you that the what Aloja Hawashai, what he looked like really does matter. Because the reason why his image was changed to an Edomite image is in order to push Edomite supremacy in the form of plantation Christianity, because that's exactly what plantation Christianity is. It's not just the worship of, Serapis Christos and Cesare Borgia, but also to push the worship of Esau, Edom, the so-called red man ruling over the earth, right? To consolidate their power basically and make them look as though they are the chosen special people on earth. So let's continue reading. Revelation 1, verse 12. And this is the revelation of the Apostle John, or rather, John the Revelator, but still the Apostle anyway. And I turned to see the voice that spake with me. And being turned, I saw seven golden candlesticks. And in the midst of the seven candlesticks, one like unto, and that seven candlesticks, that's the menorah, right? Because it's actually how do I put it now? It's a I don't know what they call those but it's a menorah, okay? Let me just say that because that's the best way to put it. With seven heads, which are for seven candlesticks. So and I think if we go on down, it's actually explain what those candlesticks are. So, and in the midst of the seven candlesticks, one like unto the Son of Man, clothed with a garment down to the foot, and get about the paps with a golden girdle. And this is funny because there was actually a time where you had this demon, one of these wacky Christians, that will come out and say that, oh, Elijah Hawashai had a tattoo on his leg that said, or on his lap, or something that said King of Kings and Lord of Lords. But here we read that Elijah Hawashai was clothed to the feet, okay, to his feet, to the foot with a garment, right? And that's a garment of the bearer, and gets with a golden girdle. In other words, a golden belt, or you know, basically that's what girdles are, right? So there is no way that John the Apostle could ever could see, Lord Yahushai's feet or his leg, and this also includes those images that brothers, right, whether it's from GMS or other camps, usually draw of Aloja Hawasha, and they usually draw him with the short ass garment, right? So they'll show that he has muscles and all that, and that's not how the scriptures describe Aloja Hawashai. Girt down to the feet with a garment, or rather clothed down to the feet with a garment. Okay, so now let's continue reading Revelation 1 verse 14. His head and his hairs were white like wool, as white as snow, and his eyes were as a flame of fire. Right. So his hairs, and it's funny because when you okay, but that's not that you're able to see that. But yeah, his head and his hair, okay, white like wool, because he had that woolly texture of hair, the same way that so-called Negroes have the woolly texture of hair, right? They call, I think they call it what, 4C hair. There are different hair textures, but that is the texture Alodia Hawashai had. He had that the same texture and color as wool, because he also did have white hair, okay, and his eyes were as a flame of fire. Right, let's continue reading. Revelation 1 verse 15, and his feet like unto fine brass, as if they burned in a furnace, and his voice as the sounds of many waters. And the description isn't that long, just 2 verses, because it just gives you exactly what you need to know, right? He had white woolly hair, and he had skin like unto burned brass, okay, because the skin on his feet will be the same as the skin on every other part of his body. And anybody that reads this understands that, oh, okay, so this is talking about a so called, because we are not, all right, the Israelites, you so-called Negroes, okay, so-called Negroes, once again, you are not black people, right? First and foremost, Jake is different shades of brown, and it's crazy because Jake in Babylon aren't even that dark skinned, right? Then you see some real, hey, look, you know, and let me just say like this, man. There are very few brothers over there in Babylon the Great that are darker than me. Let me just say like that. Even the brother in Tanzania, there are very few brothers that are darker than him. Jake isn't even that dark skin, and yet they're calling themselves black. Not even to compare us with those some of these Hamites that you see out here, and especially like the Nilots, the Nilots, and there's another group of Hamites that are really really dark skinned, right? I forgot the name of the tribe, but there's some dark skinned Hamites in Kenya, right? Those are the darkest skinned, you know, melanated people that exist, but yet even they are still brown skinned, because nobody actually has black skin, but rather that black is a byword, it is a proverb, because Esau's kingdom, in order for Esau to be the first, Jake has to be the last. In order for Esau to have success in his kingdom, let me say it like that, in order for Esau to be at the top of his kingdom, Jake has to be at the bottom. That's the reason why there is so much of a concerted effort from all the Edomite nations, from the Western world, to keep the so-called Negroes, Latinos, okay, and Native American Indians at the bottom. Because one rises, we all rise. You know how it be, or you know how it is rather. And that's the reason why there's so much of a concerted effort from them to keep you at the bottom, okay? So continuing on, and they are able to do so. Let me say this as well, right? Not because of them being Esau, right? Because you also have this doctrine out here that, oh, the so-called Edomite just managed to put our people in captivity just by themselves. No, it's because of the curses, because of our disobedience to the Most High, Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. That is the only reason why Esau Edom was even ever able to conquer our people, right? Because, hey, one on one, man, Jake is going to destroy Esau every single day. There's no question, okay? But I've already read everything I wanted to read about that. Like I said, this is actually self explanatory. But you have some demons out here that will want to be in denial and want to practice, because that's what Esau does. They are cognitive dissonance. That's not what that means. That's not what that's saying. It says head and hair, so that means he had white skin, even though nobody has white skin. And even though the scriptures has never, said or referred to anybody having white skin, unless of course you're talking about the plague of leprosy. And you see, that's a catch 22 right there, because if you are saying that, because then you'll be saying that Allah Yahweh had leprosy, and you know what that means? It means that he's unclean. Let me get that precept. The plague, that's what the scriptures call it. The plague of leprosy. And you know what the scriptures say concerning somebody that has leprosy, right? And somebody that is unclean, they can't go to the temple. So, look, man, like I said, it's a catch 22, okay? Because the only time the scriptures, let's go to that. So this is the book of Leviticus 13, verse 1. And Yahweh spake unto Moses and Aaron, saying, When a man shall have in the skin of his flesh a rising, a scab, or a bright spot, and it be in the skin of his flesh like the plague of leprosy, then he shall be brought unto Aaron the priest, or unto one of his sons the priest, and the priest shall look on the plague in the skin of the flesh, and when the hair in the plague is turned white, and the plague be inside, and the plague inside be deeper than the skin of his flesh, it is the plague of leprosy, and the priest shall look on him and pronounce him unclean. Right. So if you still to say that, oh well, yeah, Lord Yahushua had white skin, then you're also trying to say that, he had the plague of leprosy, or rather he would be a clean leper, because he would have been born with the plague of leprosy, because that's what Esau Edom has, the lack of melanin. I have to remember that according to science, it's even a genetic defect, basically. You know, just throwing that out there. So now continuing on, Leviticus 13 verse 4. If the bright spots be white in the skin of his flesh, and in sight be not deeper than the skin, and the hair thereof be not turned white, then the priest shall shut him up that hath the plague 7 days. And there's nothing I want to guess. Let me see. But it's about the scab, which is basically when when you get injured and the wound starts to heal, right? So I want to see if it's a okay, yeah, it is. So let me jump down a little bit. Leviticus 13 verse 6. And if the priest shall look on him again the seventh day, and behold, if the plague be somewhat dark, and the plague is spread not in the skin, the priest shall pronounce him clean. It is but a scab, and he shall wash his clothes and be clean. And it's actually funny to me, because it says that if the plague is somewhat dark, showing you that, man, even going back to Moses and Aaron, Jake, right, Jake, not even for the most part, our people who are all dark skinned, melanated, have to use that word, people, okay? Because that's exactly who the Israelites are, the so called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians. So what this scab is going into is a wound, is an injury that you get, that eventually heals. And if you have dark skin, you know what I'm talking about. When you have an injury, and the injury eventually, the blood on the injury clots, right? And all and not, or is it really blood clots? Well, it clots and hardens. And once that hardening blood falls off, and the injury is slowly healing, the first thing that happens is that when the skin regrows, pale, right? And the skin regrows pale, okay, and eventually the color comes into it, and then that's when the healing process is complete. And this is the same idea. And I would Google scar, but those are some. It's probably going to show you some like rough looking images. I don't want to do that, right? So let me go and get this right here. So white. I just wanted to get this one first, just to show you how the scriptures describe leprosy. Okay, so this is it right here. So I just get this one. I think, and I thought that it would also describe this in Moses as well, because there was one of the signs that the Most High Yahweh Shai showed to Moses, was that when he put his hand in his garment and brought it out, he became leprous in the hand. Basically, his hand became white as snow. But this is another sign that the Most High, Yahweh Sham Yahushai, showed to our people, right? Specifically to Aaron and Miriam, to Aaron and Miriam. So let me get this. And this is actually relevant because it shows you how tightly or close the Most High was with Moses and how heavy he was dealing with Moses, right, as compared to the rest of our people. And of course, Moses was the ruler of Israel at the time, and King David in the reincarnation. Let me get this preset. Let me just get the main point. Let me just get the main point. So this is the book of Numbers 12, verse 9. And the anger of Yahweh was kindled against them, and he departed. And the cloud departed from off the tabernacle, and behold, Miriam became leprous, white as snow. And Aaron looked upon Miriam, and behold, she was leprous. And Aaron said unto Moses, Alas, my Lord, I beseech thee, lay not this sin upon us, wherein we have done foolishly, and wherein we have sinned. Let her not be as one dead, of whom the flesh is half consumed, when he cometh out of his mother's womb. That's some shade right there, especially on Esau, because if you go into the Hebrew word for Esau, it's I saw, which means, or I shashwa, which means wasted. He's wasted, right? Basically, that's what Esau means, because that's how he came out of the womb, and that's why we call these a so-called red man, because they are not white, right? Esau is not white, Chick is not black, because you can look at even the lightest, brightest, they are still not white. And because look at pure white, right? That is F in the color spectrum. There is no, and I'm even looking at the white color right now, and you're all looking at it as well because you see it on my screen, right? What human being have you ever seen that has this skin color? Right, they are not white because they are different shades of red, because their blood shows forth through their skin. They are translucent. They are different shades of red because their blood is always because that the I already said it, the blood on their skin is always showing. Okay, so yeah, this is what being leprous is. Okay, and it's a curse from the Most High Yahweh Sham Yahushua. Just being candid. Okay, just being honest. That's why the scriptures call Esau Edom the people of his curse. Okay. And of course, you will have Israelites, and I have to say this as well, but you will have Israelites that look like Esau Edom, that look like the heathen, but they are not the heathen, they just look like them, okay? Because the curse of Esau Edom is not based on skin color, but rather based on genetics. In other words, based on bloodline, so nationality, basically. Because that's what the word nationality means. It goes back to the Greek word, I believe, "nato," which means born, right? What is NATO? I'm sorry, I'm trying to remember whether I was either nationality or race that means born. But let me get it. So, nation, team. So, the word nation, a race of people, large group of people with common ancestry and language. From the French word nation, which means birth. Okay, yeah. So, from the rank, descendants, relative, country, homeland, and directly from the Latin nationem or nominative natio, birth, origin, breed, stock, kind, species, race of people, tribe, literally that which has been born. So yeah, it means birth, it means born, and what people they are born into, and not the confusion that Esau pushes. Okay. So you also have another description, right? Let me get that precept in the book of Daniel. I think that's the ninth chapter. Okay, it is. So this is the book of Daniel 10, verse 5, and it reads, Then I lifted up my eyes and looked, and behold, a certain man, clothed in linen, whose loins were girded with fine gold of Uphaz. His body also was like the beryl, and his face as the appearance of lightning, and his eyes as lamps of fire, and his arms and his feet like in color to polished brass, and the voice of his words were like the voice of a multitude. And once again, you're seeing that term, polished brass, burned brass. And they actually show an image of these things. And if you show an image of these things, man, you know that, okay, that these people were actually dark skinned people, right? Of the so-called Negroid type. So let's get that. Brass. And really, brass and bronze is more or less the same color. But you'll see what I'm talking about very soon, right? So this is the color for brass, right? Yeah, this is polished brass. So let's, and this is a more brownish, golden color, right? So yeah, the color usually, so okay. So yeah, the color usually fluctuates between brown and gold, and this is just actually polished brass. So let's go and get, and you'll see different burned brass, and this is the color for burned brass, right? So yeah, and you can see that even if you just Google the term burned brass, you already have different images showing up of what Aloja Hawashai actually looked like, right? So that shows you that, like I said, it's self-explanatory. Okay, anybody can, and this, let me use this. Let me just use this one. Anybody can read that precept, Revelation, the first chapter 14 and 15, and you realize that, okay, this is definitely talking about a dark skinned person. So that's this passion of Christ, right? And they're going to use an Edomite looking person, let me say that like that. Like they're going to use a so-called white person in order to play a lot of in order to play Christ, right? That's what they're going to do. But the scriptures show you that our Lord Yahweh Shai is a dark skinned man. Okay. So with that, I'll end the video right there. Once again, all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh Ba'asham Yahweh Shai, Ba'asham Racha Kwadash, Wa Abad Babal, Shalom.